Hey, how's it guys? WiseGuyVito here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about SMGs and whether or not some of them caught buffs and which ones most definitely caught a nerf. And we're going to go over the data here and the calculations from different ranges and kind of go over where these guns definitely did catch a nerf. So, let's talk about the Defender. So, the Defender, I have two sets of data points here. So on the left is the Defender, on the right is the Liberator, okay? And the reason why I'm making this comparison is because at one point the Defender was actually compared to Liberator, where the Defender was the better Liberator. So this is the only reason why I'm bringing up this comparison, because I do think it's kind of interesting to kind of see these two weapons right now. And in my opinion, I do think there is a clear better choice here. And I do not think that the drag nerf or buff, I guess it is. No, I think it's like drag. The effective range change to SMGs was overall not good for SMGs. And it's like, why would you use an SMG when you can, like, whenever you can just use an AR that does the exact same thing, just do better, right? Weapon A column, by the way, is anything that's pre-patch. Weapon B column is anything that's post-patch. Anything that has a yellow number to it is where it got better. Anything that has a red number to it is where it got worse, okay? So, to kind of like explain how this calculation thing works, right? So, Defender got some meaningful breakpoints on the bug front. Hunters, it takes 2 shots to kill them now, like to the body, which is great. It takes 2 shots now to a warrior head from 1 to 25 meters. I would like to see that extended to 25 meters personally, as well. Just not one, just not two 25 meters. And Alpha Commander heads, you can see that increase go from 14 to 10, 15 to 12, and then 17 to 15. So, at first glance, this looks like this is this is a very good change. So what are you complaining about, right? Well, this is like perfect scenario with without the absolute abhorrent sway that SMGs have right now in Helldivers 2. And this is where I think that they should completely revert the sway to SMGs, because just the sway by itself. Let's put drag to the side for 1 second. The sway by itself makes these guns feel awful to use right now in Helldivers 2. So why would you want to ever use SMGs just because of not only with the effective range nerf that they caught, but also the accuracy nerf that they caught as well? And that has to do with the sway. And if the selling point of SMGs is going to be, well, these are run and gun, weapons, why would I ever want to run and gun with something that whenever I do use one-handed, I'm just going to just sway all over the place, and I'm not going to hit my shots while I'm running and gunning, right? Even at these close ranges as well, you're going to feel that sway just go all over the place, like whenever you're using these guns. And this is somebody who used the MS7 religiously post-patch. Pre-patch. Like, I was using the SMGs like all the time. SMGs is like one of my favorite archetypes in video games, okay? And these SMGs feel awful. These SMGs feel really bad, especially in a horde shooter. So, in comparison though, the Defender next to the Liberator is just far beyond just leagues better again, compared to the Defender. The Liberator is the better Defender. It gets the exact same breakpoints, if not more breakpoints at 50 meters. For example, like the normal Hunter mains, right? It goes from 1 to 25. 25 onward goes from 2, and then 50 onward goes to 3 to 2, right? Alpha Commander heads, this is a big one. It goes from 12 to 10 at 1 to 25 meters. Then it goes from 12 to 10 again at 25 meters onward, 13 to 10 at 50 meters, and then 14 to 11 at 100 meters. So again, why would you use the Defender? I don't understand. Why would you use it for, right? Like this, like the Defender is just a shit version of the Liberator at this point in time. Like, why would you want to use it? Whenever it comes down to the like the bot front. Maybe there's something in the bot front that we can say this weapon with. Well, not really. The defender has a beat as well. Scout shredder legs, it goes from like 27 to 17. So you're like, oh man, that feels good, until you realize that the Liberator can do the exact same thing. Oh, the Liberator can do the exact same thing at 25 meters, and it can do it at 50 meters. The Defender only goes from 29 to 22 and 34 to 27. By the way, there's sway involved. So even if we look at these numbers as what they are, 34 to to 27, you're like, oh man, like that's a big change. That's if you hit your shots with an SMG, and that sway is awful. So again, did SMGs really get that much of a change? Not really. They just got worse. That's what it is, right? These guns just simply got worse, especially for the Defender. Why would I use this whenever I can just use the Liberator, right? Devastator legs, 14 to 11. That's a 5-bullet difference. That's pretty good, right? Until you figure out that the Liberator goes from 13 to 12. So it's 1 bullet more. But again, you get that at 25 meters. You get that at 50 meters. It's one more bullet. And you get that at 100 meters. With no sway, you still get the same customization stuff as you would the Defender if you just use the Liberator. So again, why would you want to use this gun? Hulk fence, you go from 26 to 19. That's a pretty big, that's a pretty big increase. That's pretty good. Until the Liberator, 22 to 19. Okay, what about 25 meters? 29 to 23, that's pretty good. Liberator, 23 to 20. Okay, what about 50 meters? 50 meters, it goes from 33 to 30. Okay, that's 24 to 20. So again, why would you use this gun on the bot front either? Okay, maybe there's something on the Illuminate front. Okay, maybe I'm being just a dissonant right now. Maybe I'm just being a little funny. Okay, voteless legs. Wow, man. Look, okay. So voteless legs for the Defender, it went from 2 to 1. That's pretty good, right? It even goes to 25 meters like that, 2 to 1. Man, that's pretty good. Even voteless, or like voteless main, their bodies, it goes from 3 to 2. Same thing with 3 to 2 at 25 meters, until you realize that the Defender can do that up to 50 meters. So again, where was the buff? Where is the buff of these weapons? There is no buff to these weapons, especially for the Defender. The Defender did not get a change. At this point, it actually caught just a nerf, because of the effective range of the gun just feels worse. If they really wanted this gun to be a close-range monster, they would have upped the damage even more than what it was currently. Because I want to see 4 to 5 bullet difference, a 4 to 5 bullet difference, like a decrease on, let's say, I don't know, let's say if we were to go back to the bot front, or the bug front, Alpha Commander heads, make that shit 8 bullets to kill an Alpha Commander head. Make it 7. Make it 6 or something, right? If SMGs are supposed to be these close range monsters, then they need to feel like close range monsters. These to me, this is just a shitty version of a Liberator. So why would I ever want to use this ever? Let's go over the Knight real quick. Okay, so the Knight, I do believe, caught an overall buff when it comes down to bugs and illuminates, but not that much. I still think it probably would need some changes to it overall. Definitely to sway. Sway needs to be completely removed from this gun completely. I don't know why we're messing around with consistency, because if you mess around with consistency of guns, they just feel worse overall. Especially if it's in the opposite direction to where you make them inconsistent. Knight here, we go from 3 to 2 on hunter bodies, predator hunters, 3 to 2. That's pretty good. Alpha Commander heads, it goes from 16 to 10. That's pretty good. 18 to 14. That's pretty good. 25 meters, 21 to 20 at 50 meters. That's 1 bullet less. So who cares, right? But what people have to realize with the Knight, though, is that the Knight fires really quickly, and you can get 60-round mags to it and stuff like that. The only problem with the Knight, though, that I really still have with it is that it still has very low ammo to it. Ammo in reserve, so they need to buff up the ammo to this gun completely, and they need to remove the sway. Remove the sway, and this gun will feel 1,000 times better than what it is right now. It wouldn't feel OP. It would just feel, it's just a quality of life change. Maybe I have to market it like that. It is a quality of life change that I do think the Knight needs. Same thing with the ammo. The ammo is a quality of life change. It's not a buff. It's a quality of life change. When it comes down to the Knight on the automaton front, I wouldn't be using this gun on the automaton front personally. Maybe I can see some people using it. It gains some, it's like some decent breakpoints, scout strider legs, if you can even hit them to begin with, because they're kind of skinny, and with the sway of this gun, doesn't feel particularly great. But it goes from 29 to 19, 34 to 24, and then 37 to, so basically kind of like an overall like a 10 bullet difference from 1 to 25 meters and 25 meters onward. So that's fairly good. Devastator legs goes from 16 to 12. That's a 4 bullet difference. So if you wanted to leg a Devastator, I guess that's fine. I wouldn't be using this close range monster or this little close range fast firing SMG on bots. In my opinion, I would still want to use it on bugs and the Illumina side of things. But hey, that's where it is. A Hulk fence, it goes from 30 to 20. That's actually pretty good. So if you do end up sneaking up on a Hulk from 1 to 25 meters, and beaming it down, that's not that bad. Also kind of find it funny that at 100 meters, it goes from 50 to 150, so it takes basically almost 2 or 3 extended mags in order to kill a Hulk with the Knight, at 100 meters, so that's kind of interesting or funny. And when it comes down to the Illumina side of things, hey, less voteless, goes from 2 to 1 bullets. That's not that bad. Because voteless, that's where you're going to be engaging with voteless the most, and then it's 2 onward. Personally, I would like to see this be extended at 25 meters as well, go from 2 to 1 as well. And then when it comes down to overseers and stuff like that, I would kind of like to see this gun to actually be better on overseers, because I feel like overseers are just way too tanky right now in this game. And flesh mobs, basically it takes a clip. An extended mag, 1 extended mag, and then a little bit of another one to fully take out a flesh mob. So that's actually not terrible. That's actually pretty good. And again, with this gun and with the identity of this gun is that it's going to be a close range bullet hose. So again, the Knight caught a little bit of a buff on the bug front and on the Illumina front, but otherwise though, it needs severe quality of life changes to it. So let's go over the M7S. This is the Halo SMG. This thing got gutted. End of story. Whenever I said that it got gutted in one of my previous videos, I was not joking. I was not bullshitting with anybody. This gun got gutted. Scavenger pouncers. It takes 1 more bullet now at 25 meters. That's how bad this gun is right now. Is that at 25 meters onward, it takes an extra bullet to main on a scavenger. I had someone in the comment section said I was a liar, and they went into the game and did that. And so I went into my little game and did that on challenge rating 4. And guess what happened? At past 25 meters, it takes 1 more bullet. Wow. It's almost like the stuff that I bring up, I kind of test beforehand before putting my fucking video. Alpha Commander, normal Bile and Alpha Warrior heads. At 25 meters, it goes from 3 to 4. That's a straight nerf to a gun that was great at medium and even at long ranges in Halo 3 ODST. If they're going to balance IP crossover content, and if that's the standard that they set by their own words, Glazers, by the way, by their own words, then they need to be kept to that standard. Glazers are actively wanting the downfall of Helldivers 2 when it comes down to IP crossover content, okay? They are the biggest inconsistent fuckheads I've ever heard in my life. Anyways, Alpha Commander heads, it goes from 16 to 12, so that's pretty good. That's a four bullet difference. But again, the identity of this gun was a medium to even touching long range SMG. So again, probably needs to have some sort of buff to it. It needs a complete revert change to this. On the bot front, because I do think that this was more like a bot weapon than anything else compared to the bugs. It gained really no meaningful breakpoints. Scout strider legs, if you can even hit them at 125 meters, because of the massive amount of sway. It goes from 29 to 20. Okay, that's if you can hit all your bullets because of the sway, though. Again, quality of life changes. Get rid of the sway. Devastator legs goes from 16 to 14. Who cares? Heavy Devastator backpack 22 to 18. Who cares? By the way, all of the meaningful breakpoints on this gun is within its audible range detection, meaning that no matter where you shoot this at, they will hear you. If you want to feel any of these meaningful breakpoint changes, they will hear you, because it is 33 meters for suppressors right now, because they're broken right now. They don't work in Helldivers 2 on any mission type. Illuminates. Funny enough, it takes 2 shots to kill a Voltless head at 25 meters. Where is the buff? Voltless legs got no change whatsoever. Almost all the SMGs got like can one-shot Voltless legs from 1 to like 25 meters. The M7S did not get that change at all. Again, because they're balancing around the fact that it has a suppressor. That doesn't fucking work. Elevated overseer heads. It goes from 5 to 4. Who cares whenever you can't hit an overseer head because they're flying over the fucking place? And are you ready for this? With the sway problem to it, it exacerbates the problem. So you can't be able to hit overseer heads. Flying overseer heads. Whenever it comes down to flesh mobs, you go from 76 to 62 for 6 times head and 96 to 78 heads. Who cares? Again, the identity of this gun was not a close-range SMG. It was a medium to even touching long-range SMG. That's how it was in Halo 3 ODST. If the devs are going to be set to the standard that they set by themselves, which is, hey, we balance IP crossover content from how it was in the games, then they need to be kept to that standard. Pummeler actually got some pretty good damage numbers, I think, anyways. I may be wrong. Thick might flame me for this. But one thing that I will agree with him on is that I want Pummeler to be made great again. Pummeler, pre-patch, at launch, Pummeler was the most fun the gun was. The most fun the gun ever was. It was a very good SMG. Did it kill? No. But what it did is that it stunned. It actually was the perfect stun weapon, and then they completely took that away from the gun completely. For whatever reason. I don't understand why they did that. But they increased the stun value from like, I think it was like 1.5 to 2 or whatever. Buff that shit up to 3.0. Okay? The stun value should be more than that. Give it more stun. Give it way more stun than what it has right now. It should be able to take 1 bullet to stun a warrior. Because that's how it was pre-patch. And launch Pummeler. Launch Pummeler was fantastic. So make Pummeler great again. Because this gun is not where it should be. Like, these damage numbers are nice. Like normal hunters, 3 to 2, that's pretty good. Alpha commander heads 16 to 11. These are good damage numbers. But where's the stun? Where's the stun to this gun? It needs to do more stun. If they took away all these damage numbers and gave it at launch stun value, no problem. No problem. I would have no problem with the Pummeler at that point, because it would be a crowd control SMG, and it feel pretty good. On the bot front, you gain some meaningful ones here, like Scout Striders 29 to 20. That's almost like a 10 bullet difference. But again, try hitting a Scout Strider leg that's super skinny with like the added sway. It goes from 31 to 24 at 25 meters again, but with the sway problem though, that's an issue. Devastator leg goes from 16 to 13. That's really bad too. Like, that's 3 meters, dude. Like, what the hell are you talking about? It's just like these are fine, but again, like, the identity of the gun is the stun. It didn't need necessarily like a damage change or any of this kind of stuff. It just needed more stun to it. For whatever reason, like, they're so unbelievably afraid to buff stun weapons. Voteless, at 1 to 25 meters, it goes from 2 to 1 bullets for Voteless legs. That's actually pretty good. It goes from 3 to 2 for the bodies, or like the the chest, or like the main for Voteless. So that's pretty good, I guess. Other than that, though, we're talking about like a 1 bullet difference. But again, the damage wasn't the problem for the Pummeler. It was the stun of the gun. The stun. So did Pummeler get a buff this patch? Sure. But with the added sway and with the stun value still not being where it's at post patch, like again, like the stun needs to be more than what it is right now. The reprimand. Okay, here's the reprimand. Okay, the reprimand got gutted. It was taken out back like the healthy dog that it was. There was nothing sick about this. Sick as in like, like it was not a healthy gun, right? This gun was trash or whatever. It was taken out back like the healthy dog that it was and shot in the head for no reason whatsoever. It did not needed the drag changes it needed. It got an overall nerf. This gun went from an A tier. It was an A tier pick. It was not even an S tier gun. It was an A tier ballistic weapon, and it went from A tier down to what I would call maybe like C, even D tier. I don't think it's worth it anymore to even use this gun anymore. People were complaining about this gun not having enough ammo in the magazine. They wanted more customization options to it. But instead of doing that, they buffed the damage by 10, and they nerfed the drag on this gun so unbelievably much that this SMG sucks now. I mean, look at this on the bug front, for example, right? Like normal bile heads, okay, wow, it goes from 4 to 3. Woo, wow, like warrior bodies goes from 4 to 5, right? Alpha commander heads, 18 to 17. Wow, 1 extra bullet, but I lose out 3 fucking bullets at 25 meters. It goes from 19 to 21. Bro, what are you doing? Let's look at this on the bot front, because I believe this is more like a bot front enemy, okay? This thing gained absolutely fuck all anything from 1 to 25 meters. Devastator legs, 6 to 5. Hunter vents. Oh, sorry, not Hunter. Hulk vents, 14 to 13. Jetpack Hulks, 20 to 19. Gained 1. But look at the red numbers from 25 meters on. It's a bullet here. It's 2 bullets here. Like, I mean, like, I don't think you would ever use this on, like, a gunship. But, like, gunship to main, it was, like, 53 to 60. That's a 7 bullet increase. Like 25. So, again, this gun did not need the change that it needed. Devastator heads. That's the biggest one in here. The Devastator heads. And it went from 1 to 2 bullets at 25 meters. Why? It didn't need it. It didn't need it. It was fine. It didn't feel overpowered. It was great. Let's go over the Illuminate. The Illuminate, for the most part, it did fine. It can still one shot. Voteless legs and stuff like that. At 125 meters. But again, when it comes down to like it didn't really change that much on the Illuminate front. But again, it's a heavy-hitting, slow-firing SMG. It should have its range. Like at 100, like at 50 meters, like Overseer or Overseer main, it goes from 6 to 8. Elevated Overseer heads, it goes from 2 to 3. But again, like now I'm saying that as like a bad thing. But even if it was like let's say if it was like a one-shot to Overseer heads at like 50 meters, right? That'd be good until you realize that it has unbelievably god-awful sway. So again, like, where was the buff to these guns? Where was the buff to the reprimand in all of this? Flesh Mob's head, 50 to 46, until you realize that 25 meters, which, by the way, it's not that far, goes from 53 to 57. Why? Quality of life change. Remove the drag from this gun and remove the sway. Remove the sway. You took out the bullet deviation from this gun completely. And now this gun feels like, it felt better, but now you gave it more sway, and you gave it more drag. I don't understand why. And again, they thought that maybe like a 10 damage increase was gonna fix these, fix these problems. The reprimand and the M7S are definitely like some of the biggest like gutted weapons right now in Helldivers 2. The M7S is probably the worst primary in the entire game. The reprimand's not too far behind now because of that. And of course, like this, the Stag. This is like the Killzone SMG. It's kind of similar to what it is with the Knight. I just feel like the Knight's just better, just overall. I would like to see the Stag be like a little bit more hard hitting than the Knight, personally. That's just me, because it's such like an aggressive looking SMG. And I think that's where the identity is to it, is that it's an aggressive style, hard hitting SMG. That's more or less like close range. It's not necessarily like a bullet hose, just more of like just a mean sounding SMG. And it got some meaningful break points. Hunter mains, it goes from 3 to 2. Predator Hunters 3 to 2. Spore Hunters 4 to 3. That's pretty good. 25 meters. It basically keeps up what it's supposed to have, right, for the most part. So I can't really complain too much there. Stag again on the automaton front. 29-19 on Scout Strider legs, but again, good luck ever trying to hitting something that by the way, that's kind of close, and I'm even saying that's bad because the sway is terrible on this. Okay, Devastator stomachs, it goes from 6 to 4. That's not that bad, to be honest with you. That's actually kind of easier to hit than, let's say, like a Scout Strider leg. Hulk Vents is actually pretty noticeable. It goes from 30 to 20, so that's a 10 bullet difference. That's not that bad. So again, like, you know, you got some buffs there. I wouldn't use this on the automaton front personally. Again, this feels more like a bug SMG and an Illumina SMG. And of course, on the Illumina side of things, we talk about Voltless legs. It goes from 2 to 1 at 125 meters. That's fine. Voltless main, it goes from 3 to 2. That's pretty good. And again, like, we're talking about like 2 to 3 bullet difference here and there, right? Whenever it comes down to flesh mobs, it goes from 96 to 70. I personally think this is kind of bad still. Like, even though it's almost like a 16. It's probably not like 26 bullet. Yeah, a 26 bullet difference. I still don't think that's necessarily that great because the Knight just does this better. Faster firing, in my opinion, better reload too, compared to the Stag. So again, like, I feel like the Stag should be more of like a heavier hitting, high rate of fire SMG more than what it is right now. Basically, just increase the durable damage of this SMG probably even more than what it is right now, and I think that it'll probably be in a good spot. But, like, you know, did it catch a buff on the Illuminate? Slightly. On the Bug front, again, slightly caught a buff, but again, with the added effective range and the sway of this is awful. This SMG is definitely not worth it. So that is the calculations for all the SMGs in Helldivers 2 post-patch. Now, do I think these changes were good? Absolutely not. So I know what they're trying to go for here, which is SMGs are supposed to be like these close range monsters and stuff like that. This is not that at all, right? For every SMG buff that happened, an AR can basically do the exact same thing but better. That's how it is. And I really don't like that they didn't remove the sway, right? I feel like the drag changes wouldn't be as bad if the sway wasn't terrible. Even at close range, the sway just feels awful. So you have really bad effective range. You have a really bad sway problem right now. And a lot of these guns just got gutted. Like the MS7, or sorry, the M7S and the Reprimand, those two guns were completely gutted. The Pummeler got some nice buffs, sure, but like the effect, but like the stun value isn't there for the gun. The Stag, got some buffs here and there, but for the most part, didn't really move the needle at all. The Knight would probably say is probably the only kind of W, but like the Defender, why would I ever want to use the Defender whenever I can just use the Liberator? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I use any of this kind of stuff whenever I can just use something different that actually works, right? And it is better. Why would I use Defender whenever I can just use Liberator? Just use Liberator. Technically, I can just use Liberator for any of these choices and come out on top all the time. With just the base weapon of the base weapon of the game is better than most SMG choices right now. That's wild to me. What is the niche of SMGs right now? There's no niche for SMGs at all. They took it away with bad sway and bad effective range. And in some cases, where the M7S, again, IP crossover content, I'm going to keep on harping until the cows come home, because that is the standard that they set themselves. If you want to be pissed off at me for saying that, like, holding their standard, listen, they set the standard, not me. They should make that gun to a medium to long range weapon. But again, this is how I see it right now. SMGs overall, either the needle did not move at all, or the needle did move a little bit for the SMG. Like the SMG did get better to some degree, but why would you use it whenever you can just use an AR that does the exact same thing and better, and then other SMGs caught just a nerf. M7S is one of them, and the Reprimand is another one. Those guns got gutted. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Kind of want to see what you guys think about the overall changes to SMGs. Where do you think I am missing this? Right now, from what I've seen in this data, and I don't know how anyone can look at this data and say, those are actually pretty good changes to SMGs, because they're not at all. This made SMGs into unbelievably laughable weapons to use against any enemies of democracy whatsoever. So you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. As always, like, share, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.